Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services to testify in regard to Emali Rehabilitation Center in Emali Mulala Ward and the expenditure of the funds for sports development program Ligi Mashinani in Kabonzweni Ward. Do swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Sure. We are again as the members who are accompanying at the end of the launch. The Waziri and they are not willing to take one. Yet we had done a letter inviting the Waziri here with a paragraph indicating that he should be accompanied by another officer who might help him respond to the issues that were raised.
So Waziri, I think the letter was very clear. Then why did you come with the members who don't want to give this committee the true information or the true issues which we are requesting from your department? Or are you going to speak on their behalf? Waziri.
Chair, I think at this consultative meeting sessions, we are going to get directions from your end. As per the letter that was presented to us, I was required to come with any other officers,
sure.
And I've come with the team. On whether we were going to take a oath, that was not part of that. And so if that is a requirement, then I think it will be in order you guide my team on what they are supposed to do.
Waziri, not unless what we are discussing here, you are not taking it serious with your team, I think, or what you want to give us as feedback, it is not the right thing, then you also need to guide, because the only person we invited the Waziri and any other person who will be of help to assist you to respond to that statement. Not unless, Waziri, you want to tell us the team wants to give false information and the reason they don't want to take the oath, then we are not in the same page, Waziri. I think we cannot engage. And I've told you, Waziri, this is the third time we are having this sitting. The first sitting, you were not in a position to respond to the queries. The second sitting, we were here, Waziri. We were not in position. You are not in position to answer those queries, and that's the reason why now we have this meeting. Simply because we gave you some time to go and sort your house and come with any other person who would be of assistance to you to respond on this statement. Then, Waziri, if you have come with the wrong team, I'm sorry, we didn't invite you with the wrong team. We invited you with your team, which who can respond to the Emali rehabilitation issue.
Maybe, Chair, for benefit of doubt, as we discussed on this matter of taking oath, I want to refer Waziri and members to Article number 195 of Constitution 2010. And sure, if you allow me, I will read,
Sure.
because it's a provision of law, that a county assembly or its committee has the power to summon any person to appear before it for purpose of giving evidence or providing information. 2 of it says, for the purpose of clause 1, an assembly has the same powers of that of High Court. And 2A, 2, enforce the attendance of witness and examine them on oath, affirm or otherwise. So we are within the requirement of the law. I wish, Chair, with your guidance, we can now, the officer who is not willing to take oath, in particular, can say why he or she is not willing to. And now we'll be able to give guidelines as a committee, because we are working within the law.
In addition to that, Waziri, sorry?
And through the chair, I think the purposes of administering this oath to this team is to make sure that the information that they will avail to us is correct.
Sure.
So I don't think it's a big deal, unless you are hiding behind something that you don't want to give the right information. Then that is the only time that you cannot, you are not able to take the oath. But I think it's important we save time, because we are wasted some minutes, and then we want to go and do other business. So, Chair, be in charge,
Sure.
and make sure anyone who is not willing to give information and is not willing to take an oath, then I think he may not have some business here with us.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Waziri, if your team is not willing to take the oath, then we are going to adjust, to adjourn this meeting, and then we will subject you to the committee of the whole house, so that you can also, your team also can also continue refusing to take the oath, because we told you that our letter was very clear. You come with the team who will respond on the issues you feel they were in charge at that particular time. So, Waziri, it is up to you now to before we adjourn, so we can get your last word, Waziri.
I think that is well guided, Chair. The officers are well guided, so they can proceed to take the oath.
I, Jim Nakau, having been invited by the Town Assembly Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services to testify in regard to Emali Rehabilitation Center in Emali Mulala Ward, and the expenditure of funds was and the expenditure was funds for Emali. Do swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Chair, I also need to get some clarification on how all this being administered, because it's either you guide on whether you can use the Bible, or if you are Muslim, you can maybe use the Quran, or you can raise your hand. I don't know which is which, because we need some clarification.
Clark.
I think I can say something on that. You cannot compare.
Yeah.
we adjust this document to suit the different directorates
Yeah.
because they have been combined.
Chair, I think I have requested to get some clarification
Sure.
before you respond to him.
Mheshimiwa, you can either use your hand,
Yeah.
the Bible, or the Quran.
Yeah.
She's in order.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I, having been invited by the County Assembly Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, and Social Services, do testify with regard to Emali Rehab Center in Emali Mulala. Do swear that the evidence that they shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I, Godfrey Mungela, have been invited by the County Assembly Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services to testify in regard to the Emali Rehabilitation Center in Emali Mulala Ward. Do swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee shall be true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you, Waziri, and your team for that session. Now, members and Waziri and team, we are going to do a brief introduction, and we are going to start from the farthest end.
My name is Elizabeth Muluke. I am not a member of this committee, but I'm invited here on the matter concerning sports funds. I am the request of that TV.
Thank you, Chair. I am Benedict Kennedy Maneni, MCA for Kabonzweni. I'm also a member of this committee.
Good afternoon. I'm Felix Mateso, a member of this committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josephine Dambuki, Special Elect by UDA Party. I'm a member of this committee.
I am Janet Kitunga, member of this committee. My name is Martina Nguse Kimilo, a member of this committee.
Mutunga Cosmas is my name. I represent the people of Emali Mulala Ward. That's why I'm here today. I've been invited for this matter concerning the rehabilitation at Manyani.
Eric, I'm the chair.
Oh, sorry. My name is James Ngao. I'm the committee clerk in charge of this committee.
Mary Wema, a member of this committee.
Jennifer Kamande Mwandi, a member of this committee.
Oh, welcome.
Sorry, Chair.
Waziri?
Thank you very much.
Sorry, we have another team.
For that, you'll have to turn off aeroplane mode.
Communications.
Over to you, Waziri.
Thank you very much. I am with my team, and we're going to start.
For that, you'll have to turn off aeroplane mode.
Acting Director's response. Good afternoon. I'm Godfrey Mungela, Procurement Officer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I'm Jane Makau, the Gender and Social Services.
And I'm Nicholas Mutua, the Chief Officer in charge of Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services.
And my name is Peter Mumo, the ECM, Department of Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri and team and honorable members. Today we have two issues. Issue number one, we have a request for a statement regarding the expenditure of funds for Kadhauzeni Development Program, Ligi Mashinani in the Kadhauzeni Ward. Number two, the other issue is request for information on status request for regarding the Emali Rehabilitation Center. So because I would wish Waziri we start with the request for Kadhauzeni, the sports development program. So Waziri, we had a statement from one Mheshimiwa Elizabeth Mutike pertaining expenditure of funds for sports development program for Ligi Mashinani. So I know you have the information and the response. So we go straight to the first question, and I will give the clerk to take us through. Thank you, clerk.
Thank you, Chairperson. You remember last time we did not have a meeting going on, and you requested that I would be extended with 7 days to appear. You were supposed to come here yesterday. That did not materialize, and that's why you are here today to respond on the two issues that the Chairperson has indicated. So, when you requested for extension of time, we maybe thought you would come with a different response from what you had provided earlier. But since that has not happened, we will rely on what you supplied to this committee on 3rd of July. I presume that you have copies of that response that you issued to us. So, straight to question number 1. It was whether the department was aware that money meant for sports development program in Kadhauzeni had not been paid, and what had caused the delays in the payment of the money, while the other wards across the account had been paid. So response?
The response to that query is that while other wards received payments towards Ligi Mashinani, Kadhauzeni ward had no budget for Ligi Mashinani in the approved budget. However, Kadhauzeni ward had organized a youth sports tournament which was completed in January 2024. After the tournament, participating teams were issued with sports equipment and cash awards as follows. Sports equipment procured at Kenya shillings 397,500 and cash awards amounting to 330,000 Kenya shillings. The money for the cash awards was borrowed to be reimbursed, and this has already been done. Therefore, there was no delayed payment for funds as observed in the query. So we maintain that statement. We maintain that position as a department.
Since you have the area member for Kadhauzeni, it's good that he confirms to us that whether there was a budget for Ligi Mashinani or not. Just begin from there.
Thank you. I want to confirm. I passed the budget in June 2023 for the people of Kadhauzeni. That was the budget for 2023-2024, and the budget contained sports development program amounting to 500,000 Kenya shillings. In additionally, I want to confirm that during supplementary budget 102, I was able to add 400,000 to that kit to make it 900,000. I also raised a matter during supplementary 1 with Waziri then that the sports equipment had not, the budget that was set aside to purchase the uniform and the other sports equipment was not sufficient, and that was the budget for 2022-2023. And since the money was not sufficient, the money was 303,000 for 2022-2023. That was a vote balance for 2022-2023. That money, I asked Waziri then, where is this money? And that money was in your recurring budget. And we agreed that the money should be moved from your recurring budget to the ward kitty. The 303,000 to the ward kitty. Then, that is the reason why I added money, 400,000 to that kitty, so that you could be able to purchase the uniform and equipment of 397,000. And since it is a catch of my ward, we had youth sports tournament to also have 330,000 for cash awards. So my query is not answered, the whereabouts of the 500,000 shillings. There is no minute in supplemented budget 1, the money is not shown, there is no movement, there is nobody who authorized this. You also look at the supplementary budget 2, nothing showing the movement of the money, 500,000 to any other allocation. So I still remain questioning the department.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I think, Waziri, if we get clarity of the 500,000, everything for Wadonzoe will be answered. That is the only issue for the 500,000.
At this moment, I will welcome the Director of Sports to give clarification on how the movement of the money took shape across the 2 supplementaries that we were able to do across the year.
Thank you. Through the chair of the committee members, I agree that there was 500,000 allotted. But upon the budget that we received on supplementary 1, for sure there was a previous balance of 26,000 coming in. And then there was an introduction of a youth sports tournament, which had 703,490. But again, on the sports development, the 500,000 seems to have been moved. From where I sit, I can't explain because I receive a budget that is passed. And then from there, the 703,490 is of course used for procurement and cash awards, is said. So the discussions that went on during the supplementary 1, probably I don't sit there, I really can't really know how it went.
So still, Waziri, we are not answered about the 500,000. Our query is very simple, because the director has agreed to, there was a budget of 500,000. But where it went, you can't tell.
Chair, we are coming to that. So I will be able to elaborate. Under the sports budget, under the wards budget lines, we have in the financial year, the initial budget, $500,000 is allocated for sports development. And we have another amount that is allocated within that budget, if we can go to the budget, for purchase of assistive devices for the PWDs. Those are the 2 lines that are appearing in the initial budget as was passed by the county assembly, and then we proceed to supplementary budget 1. During supplementary budget 1, $500,000 was borrowed from the Department of Roads, money meant for purchase of fuel from a vote line amounting to 2 million. $500,000 was borrowed from or was reallocated from roads to the Department of Gender, and that money was divided into 2. 400,000 went to a new youth sports tournament line that was introduced at that time, and 100,000 shillings was proposed to be an amount that would be added more monies to make 600,000. So then we get an introductory of PWD mapping and sensors budget line that was not there. So during supplementary budget 1, we had 2 new vote lines that were introduced. Vote line 1 was youth sports tournament, that as at the end of that budget, what was approved was 703,490. Now I want to explain how we were able to get to that amount. That was the 400 that was reallocated from the money borrowed from the roads project, plus 303 that was retrieved from a balance that had remained in the Ligi Mashinani vote line for the ward before the closure of the previous year. So that 303 plus 400 sums up to 703. Now, the new line that was introduced at that time, the other new line, was PWD mapping. Now, during the budget negotiations, the negotiation between Mheshimiwa, the department, and the committee, at that level, there was a proposal that we get the PWD mapping from the 500 allocated for assistive devices, and plus the 100 that was borrowed from roads, amounting to 600, right? And indeed, that is what happened. However, when this budget went further in the negotiations, it was impossible to reallocate the monies for assistive devices, because as at the time we were carrying out the supplementary, that money was already committed. And for that reason, the money meant for sports development was at that time utilized, and that's why in the supplementary budget, you realize that sports development does not have money at supplementary 1. And then we have a new line, 703, youth sports tournament, and then Ligi Mashinani, out of the balance that had been carried forward, and 300 reallocated to youth sports tournament, 26,000 remains under that line. Then down there, we have 2 lines, PWD mapping, that is now amounting to 600,000, and purchase of assistive devices under PWD again of 500,000. 600 for PWD mapping and 500 for. Now, up to that end, when we came to the final supplementary, or the second supplementary, the vote line for PWD assistive devices remains. The vote line for Ligi Mashinani goes to 0, and 26,000 is moved to youth sports tournament to make it 729,490, and then the vote line for I think I had already mentioned that the vote line for PWD mapping remains 600. Sport development becomes 0. Youth sports tournament becomes 703, and the purchase of assistive devices remain at 500. So now, if we narrow down to the budget under sports, then at the end of the year, the only amounts that we had under specifically sports was 729,490 that was divided into 2, a recurrent and a development. So the development part was 397,500 that was used to purchase the equipment, and 330 was utilized to to do the cash awards. So with that breakdown, then you realize that as a department, we did not have any misappropriation or lack of use of any monies allocated under sports. And I would wish to wind up by mentioning this. All the discussions that we did across the budget making process were culminated with an approval at the county assembly. And as a department, we were only able to utilize monies as were approved at the county assembly and presented to us as a department from the county treasury.
Thank you. Any questions from the members?
Chair. Ndimo Romo. Chair.
Members.
Chair, in quotes. Ndimo Romo.
Order, Mheshimiwa. Let's use the appropriate language when we are in this committee.
Just quoted. I've just quoted.
Oh, okay.
Just quoted.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, Katonzoni ward is not the only ward that converted money they had budgeted for to purchase assistive devices for the PWD. It is not the only ward that converted that money to do mapping. And that is why during the supplemental budget, I agreed. The minutes are there. I would request the committee clerk to read the minutes. I requested and we agreed, 18 wards agreed. Those are the wards that are allocated money to purchase assistive devices. But we agreed, instead of going to purchase assistive devices for the people, PWD, we don't know their needs, it is better we do mapping first. And 18 wards agreed. And the wards are there. The clerk will read. And the minutes are very clear. How we agreed to change the 500,000 for assistive devices, social protection, to mapping. And since the budget was not enough, you needed 600,000. I also looked for 100,000 and added there to become 600,000. Am I clear? Chair, I'm very clear. Can you read the minutes?
It's true.
The answer for where is the 500,000 is not yet answered.
We have two issues. Waziri, before you go on, we have two issues. One, we have the issue to do with mapping and the assist devices. Those are two lines. Now, Mheshimiwa Katonzweni, did you have a budget for assist devices and the mapping? Did you have those budgets?
We had a budget, I've said, we had a budget of assistive devices, 500,000.
Yeah.
But during the supplementary, we agreed to convert this money, and it is there. I would request the clerk to read. Let the clerk read the minutes.
And
the minutes are very clear.
There is a word line funds. We had a word line for social protection program, that is provision of wheelchairs and assistive devices. So the money for the 500 which was there was reallocated for PW mapping. That is 500,000, and we got 100,000. What was harvested from the Department of Transport for grading.
Yes, very simple.
So in short, Waziri, you
500,000 is still missing.
Yes.
That is not the position, Chair. Let me just elaborate. So what happened at the point when the minutes were being raised, there was also the conversation between when we had the budget was uploaded, the original budget. There was an urgent request through the discussions between the department, and this is based on the information that was given to me, to have the assistive devices get priority. So then that project be completed as a priority project. And that's why by the time 18 wards went out there and agreed to do conversion of the money for Katonzweni unfortunately had already been committed or utilized. And that's why
that is
the only
that is corruption.
Order, Mheshimiwa.
The only alternative source The only
Let's have decorum,
alternative
Mheshimiwa.
source,
Let Waziri go on. So
the only
we will
alternative source, and this was done in consultation, was for the money for the sports development to be reallocated at that time.
Honorable Chair, any
And-
consultation,
Mheshimiwa.
Honorable Chair, any consultation,
Order, member.
any consultation to do with the budget,
Order, Mheshimiwa.
it
Once you are...
it passes before the
Order,
committee,
Mheshimiwa.
Honorable
Order,
Chair.
order.
Maybe you can guide, I don't know. But that
Yes,
is what I
give-
know.
give
Any
us-
consultation is in record, it is minuted, it is, the budget line are there, it
Mheshimiwa,
is
be
there.
orderly. You will have your time.
But you know,
Let-
it is not
no,
better,
let
Waziri,
Waziri-
to
no.
continue lying to us.
Let
Nobody
him
was
finish.
consulted. And even if you consulted me, how? Where is it showing that you consulted me?
Mheshimiwa,
How?
it is not fair.
And am I of unsound
Mheshimiwa,
mind?
just- no, you are going to have your time.
No.
Let Waziri
I don't
finish.
agree with that.
Order, member. You cannot. Then why do you have to have this
But
discussion?
you know,
Be orderly, Mheshimiwa. You are going to-
indicating that he consulted after we did it is very. Let me ask, is it the only Kadonzoni ward that the money was taken back to do the
Mheshimiwa,
PWD mapping?
all of us
Why for assist devices? Why has the other 17 wards did not purchase the devices? Why is it Kadonzoni ward? They went ahead and
Mheshimiwa,
purchased
we also
the
get those
devices.
speaks. Each and every member, we are listening to what the Waziri is saying. So give Waziri time to finish so that we can also we can reject.
Okay.
Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Chair. With humble request, it is very important we have order, because at the end of the day, we shall gain the quality we want. So, Honorable Mheshimiwa Kabonzoni, I request you to be cool. Let us listen, and we will have the right answer, and I know we'll end somewhere.
Thank you. You know, Mheshimiwa, the moment we interject once the Waziri is going on, other members want to get what happened. Then they will not be in a position to respond or to question anything. You will be engaging between you and Waziri. So what is the reason of the other members being here? So kindly let Waziri finish and then you come you come in.
Chair, through the chair,
Yes.
mine will be very simple, because this matter, when it came again before Waziri, the only contentious issue was only the 500,000.
Sure.
I would just want Waziri to be clear about how that money was moved. If there are any consultations between the Waziri, the area MCA and the committee, let us just have evidence to show that there was any consultation on how that money was moved, and then we will have settled this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's what I told you, Waziri. Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Yes, and it's also very important to understand at what point was the money committed. We need to see some evidence of when was the money committed.
Sure.
That is very important.
Waziri, the moment when we were starting, I told you a very simple question. Just tell us how did you utilize? How did you come up to utilize the 500,000? That is the only issue. The moment you answer how the movement came in, and if there was consultation, then you'll have answered all the entire statement. That is the only issue, Waziri. We understand we had mapping and also as devices, yes. They have been done, yes. But the question is, how did we come up to implement the line of the assisted device of 500,000? That is the only issue. If you answer the movement of 500,000, we will be done. Thank you.
Chair, last time when I was here, we were unable to establish, we were unable to connect between the PWD mapping vote line and the sports vote line. $500,000 for sports was moved to do the PWD mapping because we do not have any alternative, or the request to have the monies as is indicated in the initial minutes to have the monies for PWD assistive devices to be moved could not take effect since there was commitment. Now, I can provide that evidence, but not at this moment, the evidence on the movement of the money. But I also want to confirm to members that when all these discussions were made, ultimately, the budget that was proposed by the team was presented at the county assembly. And this is the budget that ultimately reached our table as a department. The budget that we eventually got or received did not have sports development. That money had already been moved at supplementary 1. We had a supplementary 2 that still happened and the money was not there. So as a department, we were trying to ensure that we get to explain or confirm that indeed there was no money lost, because that was the query that was raised right here, and that there was no money that was not paid to the target beneficiaries as was presented in the query.
What was it the question? The question is, did you have a consultation between the department and the committee and the area MCA? Because we in this case, we have followed everything. We have not lost funds. But the question is, were there consultation between department, the committee, and the area MCA? That is the only issue. If you
on the account,
because Waziri, before, if you want to change anything, you change through the committee. And the reason once we go for supplementary budgets, or when you are making budgets, we sit as committee and with the particular Waziris. You discuss your issues, and then the clerk of that committee takes a minute. In our case, Waziri, the question is very simple. Here we have 3 quarters. We have the department, the committee, and the area MCA. Did you do consultation between the department, the committee, and the area MCA? That is the only issue, Waziri. Because now it means that you went ahead to implement something which was not, we didn't sit down as a committee and the area MCA to agree. For example, Waziri, I have a ward. I moved some funds from Department of Roads to Department of Gender to do the wheelchairs. When you go to the clerk for transport, you will find movement of 400,000 from transport. Yes. And then once you come to the committee clerk for committee of gender, you will find that we have harvested 400 from Department of Transport to gender. You see, that is the kind of movement in our Waziri we need to see an agreement.
Just to add on that, Chair, I think we are not new in this. We participate in budget making, and the procedure is just very simple, as the Chair is explaining. There is no way you can just move funds without any consultation. And there are records. We record with the committee, the particular committee, the concerned committee, and that is actually forwarded to, after actually agreeing with the department. That is what we adopt in the budget and pass. So during supplementary 1, as you are saying, I think that this information should have been there. Because that is why we are asking, at what point did you commit the money? Because if in supplementary 1 it was there, we need to understand whether you went ahead and committed without consultation, and why did you not consult with the member? Because I think that was very important. Because you cannot just go ahead and remove the money and maybe use it for other purposes, and the member did not want that. And this member represents the people.
Chair, maybe this clarity will assist us to move out of this question. ECM, are you aware that spending is guided by law? Are you aware that we have the Appropriation Act in place? Are you aware that working outside that act is breach of law? Because if you spend without an act, then you are against the law. So any movement of resources from one department for other should be captured during supplementary making. Remember, whatever is appropriated in the assembly is a process which is derived from the people, out of the public participation. And what the people expect is none other than what has been approved by the assembly in accordance to their participation. So any changing or purpose use of resources is against the will of the people. I think if that is responded, then we will move out of this question. Because about accountability, you have done it perfectly that there was no issue about accountability, but the issue is breaking the law.
Through the chair, I want to confirm that indeed, out of the public's participation is where monies were prioritized for the PWD assistive devices. And that's why in the original budget, that was given prominence. However, later during the supplementary, there were a consensus or there were proposals to have the PWD mapping get or be factored as a matter of priority. And I've explained that by the time the supplementary was coming, since the matter of assistive devices was a priority at Kagonzweni, expenditure was committed not outside of budget, but within the budget, because that is an item that was prioritized in the years 2023-2024 financial year budget.
So has that been captured in the previous budget appropriation act?
Yes. It was a budget line for PWD assistive devices in the original budget for the year, way before the supplementary.
You know, in annual making budget, we have a lot of activities. We have the ADP, we have the estimates, we have the budget, but I'm talking specifically on the Appropriation Act.
Mheshimiwa,
was it captured as such?
Mheshimiwa, in the original budget, financial year 2023-2024, assistive devices was a priority budget line that was budgeted $500,000.
Supplemented later.
And then during the supplementary, there was a proposal, just like in other wards, but in the case specifically for Kagonzweni, based on the information that we have, there was urgent need for that activity to be completed. And that's why procurement began within the law when the budget was live. So by the time we went to the supplementary, that money could not be moved like in other wards where procurement had not taken off.
Then we are saying just prove the committee via a document that which proved gave you the authority to spend.
Just for the budget, I have attached the budget that shows that indeed that budget line was there and the money was available and that procurement was open between way before December when the supplementary process was coming to an end.
I think Waziri, we are missing the mark. The issue is very simple. Let's not again to do how funds were utilized. Our issue is down at the beginning. Consultation with, did we do consultation? So that the members no issue, we have not misused funds. The issue of the member is very simple. How comes that we didn't do Ligi Mashinani, but we went to do assistive devices? That is the only issue. Because in his case, from where he sits, he thought we were going to do Ligi Mashinani, but we didn't do Ligi Mashinani. We have done assistive devices. Did we communicate? That is the only question. If Waziri, you answer that question, we will move out of, we will go to the issue to do with Emali.
Chair, I want to confirm that there were consultations because that's why we are introducing a new line referenced as youth sports tournament during supplementary.
Waziri, let me cut you short, Waziri. Waziri, if you go to these lines, we have funds, for example, we have a 400,000 reallocated to sports development. We can see 400,000 coming in.
Yes.
You right? You see? Yes. From a line. Yes. Out of a discussion. Whereby the member discussed with the transport department and they agreed to get 400,000. Yes. Right? Now we want to see that movement. How comes, because he had budgeted for 500,000 for sports development, how did we reach at a point whereby now we have agreed that 500,000 is moving from sports program to assistive devices. That is the only issue. Because we need to see the movement.
Chair, when those commitments were made for monies set aside for assistive devices, in other words, to be moved, the proposal to have that money for PWD assistive devices to be moved in Kagonzweni was picked together with other issues. with other wards. However, at the point of that initial proposal, information on the commitment of that money was not available. So subsequently, when that information was shared with the honorable member for Kadonzweni, then possibly it was never captured in the committee's minutes. But I want to confirm that as a department, there was that, when that was picked by the accountant and the procurement team, then that information was shared, and that's why we ended up having moving the money for sports development at that time to cater for the PWD mapping, which was a priority again. Which was a priority as indicated by the honorable member for Kadonzweni ward.
Chair.
Yeah.
Chair, I have a simple question to Waziri. Waziri, you have heard that the committee has captured all the booklets for all other expenditures and any supplementary budgets that were done. My only simple question is, the moment that the department noticed that the money for assistive devices for Kadonzweni had been committed, and that they could not get money for mapping or whatever else that they wanted to do with the 500,000, why didn't you communicate with the committee and the area member? Because supplementary budgets can only be done by the committee and the county assembly. You cannot go ahead to spend money just for league machinery just because you feel that there is an urgent need to do mapping. You can't. How did you spend that 500,000? Because you had a need, urgent need to do mapping in Kadonzweni, then you decided to spend the 500,000 for the league machinery. You see, that is what I am getting. Does it mean also the league machinery tournament was not as important as the mapping for the PWD?
Through the chair, that's not the case, Mheshimiwa. It's not because that was not a priority that that money ended up moving. It was a question of the consultation between the department, as at that time when it was realized that monies for assistive devices had already been committed, then through consultation and possibly that the picking of that at the committee's level did not happen. But the budget that was ultimately presented at the floor of the House after the processes, and we all know that we sit down with committees on a very limited period of time, proposals are given, and then there is continuous conversations during those budget making and supplementary making processes. Then that proposal was ultimately given and okayed by both the department and Mheshimiwa. And there was expectation that at some point, possibly during supplementary budget 2.
Chair, you see Waziri has said,
Yeah.
the area member for Kadonzweni okayed that
How?
expenditure.
How?
You know, we cannot
How?
sit here as a committee. The member is bothering us that this money was used, and yet is said to be knowing where that money went.
How?
We need a proof of how they consulted
Yeah.
and how they okayed that.
And who consulted me?
I have an observation. I have an observation, Chair.
Members, we might take the entire day in this question,
We have a lot ahead of
and
us.
we have a lot.
Mm.
And if we are rotating on the same on one question for this long, and it's a very simple matter for Kadonzweni, and the Emali thing, we are going to take a month. So okay.
I have an observation.
Yes.
Waziri is talking about a supplementary budget. A supplementary budget normally comes to the floor of the House, isn't it, members?
Yes.
And if that supplementary budget is the one which moved that money, yeah,
If it is the one which moved that money and it is always passed at the floor of the house, I don't know what we can say now, because there is a lot to be desired there. With the supplementary budget here, it is here, it's not passed at the executive department, it is brought in the floor of the house. And we come and pass that supplementary budget, which is okaying that allocation to be moved from here to there.
So
if I hear you, Waziri, if I hear you, that is what the Waziri is communicating.
In short, Mheshimiwa, you want to tell us the member should have noticed?
No, if I hear Waziri, that is what Waziri is communicating. How comes the honorable member did not note that?
Another question.
Am I making sense?
Paramount.
You are. No.
Am I making sense?
I want to say something. Chair.
Yes,
Chair.
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 Members, order, honorable members.
Chair.
Order, Mheshimiwa Muthige.
Chair, all the departmental budgets,
yes,
either original or supplementary, they pass through the committees. No. The budget we are talking about, Waziri, passed through this committee.
Yes.
The minutes for supplementary 1 are there. The minute for supplementary 2 are there.
Yes.
Is there any record showing movement of youth money to their department to utilize it for something else which we don't know?
Waziri, maswali ni haya.
Questions.
Through the chair, I just want your guidance. Again, just adding to a question that I've raised previously. The committee had discussions and minutes were taken. There were further discussions and the final supplementary budget was presented for approval at the floor of the House. Now, as a department, what takes precedence? Maybe you can guide. Is it the discussion at the committee level or the final approved budget? And we are not just talking about one budget that had that change. We are talking about 2 supplementaries that passed through the floor of the House. And that is what we ended up implementing. My role, from where I sit as a department, or our role as a department, was to implement the budgets as were approved at the county assembly. And we have presented information to prove that indeed we were able to utilize monies as were approved in the House. So maybe you can guide us on what we need, how we need to go about this.
So, yeah, please, Waziri, who approved the budget of 500,000 shillings meant for sports to move to assistive devices? Because all the budgets are approved in the county assembly, and we approved the supplement budget. Yeah, Mheshimiwa had his budget of 33 million with various vote lines, with various amounts or allocations for particular vote lines and activities to be undertaken in that board.
The county assembly passed the budget.
And we have our minutes here, which are contrary to what you are saying and what Mheshimiwa is saying.
The budget that ultimately came to us from as approved at the county assembly, and if we can get that copy, then we'll be able to confirm that indeed, and this did not just happen once, this happened twice. Supplementary budget 1, supplementary budget 2. Those 2 budgets do not have any money under the vote lines of sports development. And these budgets were passed at the county assembly. So that's why we are saying, as a department, we were able to implement budgets as were presented to us upon approval at the county assembly.
Through the chair, probably I would seek to ask whether the member was aware of the purchasing or the procurement of these assistive devices and the issuance. Because at one point, I believe he participated even in issuance, and I was in a dire pressure to ensure that we issue these devices to these people who
Member.
Honorable Chair, some of these activities, you know, we are involved as elected members of the ward, and when the department informs you that they are going to do the ward admin, informs you that on this day they are going to have this exercise, you avail yourself. So that is what I did. I just received the information, even the information on the PWD mapping that has been done very successfully in my ward. I was also involved by the. I was also informed by the ward admin, and that is how we work.
You know,
So,
we have,
that is not the
we,
question.
we have
The
contradicting
question is,
information because I want to understand, members. We have two issues.
Yes.
Before the budget goes through, it passes through the committee. But now the final stage, it is on the floor, whereby, you know, Mheshimiwa, we have two issues here. In the floor, you also need to go through your budget. You confirm each and every line.
Exactly.
So one, even if I don't want to make a conclusion, members, but in one way or the other, Mheshimiwa, there's some point you missed the mark on the floor, whereby the department might have changed without consultation, but now on the floor we should have noticed while on the floor. I don't know, members. We have those two issues. Again, the CEO, the chief officer, is indicating that the member took part on the execution of that activity. Mheshimiwa, you went to do oversight on that. You were an oversight organ. What did you oversight in that particular program? Because now we might
that chair. Let us not divert. So, you know, the question is very clear. Where did the youth money go? And who authorized the movement of this money? My youths are asking every day. That is the question. If let me continue, Chair. If Waziri and the department, they used this money to do something else in my ward, I don't deny. But how did that happen? The youth also have a right. They have a right. They participated. They came to water. I spent my own money. Buying them food, giving them water. My own money. While the money was there. Actually, when I asked, I was told, I don't know, the money had not been released, something like that. So that is my question.
Chair, maybe I have a reason why I posed the question about the Appropriation Act. Because the act must, the approval must be done in the assembly. Even the ECM is saying that there is that law that gives the provision of that spending. Who missed? Because if there is that law, there is that act, there is that provision of movement of resources from one department to other, or function to other, and it was done through the assembly. Why do we have to tire them?
We shouldn't.
Who failed? You know, we must be objective, Honorable Chair. If there is a supplementary budget that gives that provision, then it's spent within the law. The issue is spending within the law.
But you see, Mheshimiwa, this
Mheshimiwa,
is what it is.
Order, Mheshimiwa Kabonzweni. Yes, Mheshimiwa.
I have information about this statement.
Yeah.
This is what happened, and Waziri has said it again here.
Sure.
That the money for assistive devices could not be touched.
Yes.
Because already it was committed.
Yeah.
So whether Mheshimiwa Maneno went to the ground, he went to oversee the money that was already committed as assistive devices. But the 500,000, they moved that money to do the PWD mapping, which did not get a budget in the same financial year. If I'm not wrong, that is what they are saying. So they should tell us who okayed that movement.
Chair. The okaying of this process was not a prerogative of the department. It was a collective process that was done by the executive and given the nod ultimately by the county assembly. So as much as we might have ideally, it is a process that was okayed at the highest level by the county assembly.
I think two wrongs will not make a right. With a reason, yes,
Thank
Mheshimiwa.
you, Chair. I have listened carefully, and I have noted Waziri as confidence. They have done their work rightly, and they have followed the right process to implement in their department. Also, I've noted carefully, Honorable Mheshimiwa Maneno feels there is a gap of communication, of reallocation of money from sports program to the assistive devices. To my view, there is no corruption here. What is missing is the understanding and communication between the two hands.
Yes.
That is my take. So, can we have the final budget which was given to the department to implement? That one will give us the final.
We already have it. We have it.
Yeah, but we have the budget, the supplementary budget, which gave authority of spending.
Yes.
Maybe the honorable member did not realize that during supplementary making period.
Exactly.
That could be the problem. Maybe we can now be talking about issue of communication.
Yeah.
But the law that gave authority to spend is in place.
Yes.
Okay, my final question, Chair.
Yes.
They have said they didn't have a money, they did not have a budget for Ligi Mashinani.
Sure.
But question 3, they say all payments have been done. So walilipa hiyo Ligi Mashinani na pesa walitoa.
So, here, if I can respond to that,
Yes.
there was a new vote line which was introduced on behalf of the Mashinani, that is youth sports tournament, which is a program that I understand the member has been running. The quick short tournament. So we diverted the monies, we changed the monies from the League Mashinani to sports. So the payment that is being done is not for League Mashinani, but now for the sports tournament.
So the Ligi Mashinani players are not yet paid?
Through the chair, when we say that the question is the plans the department has for paying the money as was budgeted and when the same is expected. According to our budget, we were able to pay all the monies because monies that were available in the budget for sports related activities were youth sports tournament money that was reliably paid in January.
So, Chair,
Yeah.
I think the department now should be wise enough to guide the young people of Makueni. If you do not have a budget for Ligi Mashinani in Kabonzweni ward, why would you carry that exercise in Kabonzweni? Why don't you advise the young people, we do not have a budget in Kabonzweni ward for Ligi Mashinani, so don't carry out. And if you continue with the exercise, there are no payments, there are nothing, there are no equipment for you.
But Order Mheshimiwa, I also want to say something about the same. Honorable members, assuming that the member or Kabonzweni or Thanke Ward did not have a budget for Ligi Mashinani, we will participate. Will you participate? Sure. I want let's order member. I want to.
It's good to understand how you participate.
Okay, before I go on, let the director say something. Director, can you say something?
Okay, thank you, Chair. I now need to say this touching on Ligi Mashinani. We have had previously, even the previous season, we had wards that didn't have money for Ligi Mashinani, and previous years. But Ligi Mashinani is one vehicle that you can't stop. Whether you have money,
Order members.
they will sit, they will plan, they will go on. Why? Because it is a vehicle that they use to select players over a period of time to make a ward all-star team, of which that ward all-star team will now participate in the Super Cup tournament at the sub-county level in the effort to make it to the county finals and also as a platform towards selection to CHISA. So even when we had, at 1 year we had 23 wards only having funding, Ligi Mashinani was done in all the wards. So it's not something you can go down to the people and tell them, for you people, you now, you have no money, don't do it. It will be done.
Thank you.
And that is the philosophy of the whole program, that whether there is funding or not, they still carry out that exercise to nurture their talent. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. And members, remember, even the last Ligi Mashinani is not all wards budgeted for that Ligi Mashinani, but all the wards they participated. Even those who didn't allocate are those funds. Members, the reason I said two wrongs will not make a right is one, the committee, the department did not consult the area member while changing the money from sports to the mashinani. And the only member when
Sports too.
yeah, sure. Now, and the mistake for the honorable member, because he's a member of the committee, from now my own understanding, he thought that we have finished everything. So I don't have to look for the budget to go through the gender activities, because I have allocated each and everything. So he didn't check while we were passing that budget in the floor. He didn't go through his allocations. Another reason he missed, and from where he sits, he has his own budget, which is he passed during the supplementary budget, whereby he had a budget for Digi Mashinani. That is the issue with the Mheshimiwa. But the department you didn't do consultation between the committee and the member. That is the only issue. But now the department and the reason Waziri, you are very firm, it is because the budget went through the floor. That is the reason you are very firm.
Exactly.
Because it is you are utilizing what passed through the floor.
Legal money.
It is legal now.
Yeah.
But members and department, these are the Mheshimiwa Kabonzweni is a member of this committee. It is good to do consultation. If you are not consulting with the members for your committee, how about the other members who don't sit in the gender committee?
Yeah, and again, Chair, I only need to ask you to make guidance on this. That Waziri used a very long route just to explain where he took the 500,000. In his first initial response, he should just have written, we gave the 500,000 to assistive devices, and the whole matter would be settled. Because we know the money is in Kabonzweni, we have no question with that. The money is in Kabonzweni, but we wanted to see how that money was moved and who okayed that movement. So, just, you should have written that, and as simple as that. Without beating a lot of bush, telling us so many other things, you may not know where the money went, the supplementary one did not bear this. You should just have told us, yes, the money was there, but it was moved during this supplementary budget to this and this activities.
The members finished, Waziri. In fact, that is what you should have done. The response.
Yes.
Question number one, finish everything. We didn't have funds for that simply because blah 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 blah, and then you finish.
Yes.
Instead of answering all those, and that's the reason Mheshimiwa was asking you in the third response. All payments have been done. Which payments?
Yes. And you didn't have a budget because the whole thing is about Digi Mashinani. It's not about the sports youth sales tournament.
You contradict question number one with question number three.
Yes.
Because we are very specific. The request of the statement is very specific. Ligi Mashinani, but you have said all the payments have been done. Yet, they have not. So the response, Waziri, it is very simple. We didn't have those funds simply because 1, 2, 3, and then we respond. So as the chair of this committee, I cannot stand on the floor and then start answering these questions. You are introducing tournament, and in our question there is no tournament. You see, you get Waziri. So this is not the right response we needed from you.
So the final, Mheshimiwa, are you now contented with the resolutions that you are going to make, that the responses or the discussions, the deliberations you are good to go?
I think
only that we want the department in future to be having proper communication when moving budgets on board lines which have been approved by this counter assemblies. Yes.
I wish Waziri could have indicated that they spend the youth money to purchase assistive devices in the ward without consulting the member or the committee. That is very simple. Then the other things will just follow. Because the youth are
which are the other things?
Chairman,
we need
allow me.
Other members. We are professional. These members are professionals.
Yes.
So we cannot start now guiding them. Don't go and do blah blah. No, it is not right.
Chair, I have information. we be clear. The department spent money
In the right way.
in the right manner.
Sure.
Yeah.
We must agree on that.
Yeah.
Someone failed. Maybe when we were doing the approval of the budget, the member was not present. And he didn't imagine there was those amendments.
Don't say that. The pamphlet is more than 100 pages. You look at one point to the other.
Yeah, I'm saying
already the
maybe
debate
it
is
came,
over.
it
No,
must.
All the members,
you
all the
can't say I
members.
was
Now,
not attentive and I
no,
was
Mheshimiwa
not
Katonzo,
attentive,
order,
my friend.
order,
And
order,
the genesis
order.
of any budget is
I
through
think
this
members
committee,
have guided.
my friend.
The moment I
Please.
said, Mheshimiwa Katonzo, the
Don't
moment I
divert
said,
the issues
order,
to-
Mheshimiwa, order. The moment I said two wrongs cannot make a right, I think we should have learned to pick something from that. Yes, Mheshimiwa Jennifer, you were saying something?
Should I not continue, Honorable Chair?
You know,
Should I not?
But now,
Take care of time.
we are going on circles.
Let's save this one for Emali. We have a lot of.
Sure, that's the reason I want to finish now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you, Chair. What we should give as a resolution is that the department did their work in the right way. The gap was miscommunication with the honorable member for Kalonzweni. And right now, we have discussed and he has understood. We are supposed to move on now.
This,
I think it is
honorable members, this Waziri, he qualified to be a Waziri because he went to school. He sat in a committee, appointments committee, and he was approved. Now we have discussed. Once he goes back to the office, he will do a very good response. And I know Mheshimiwa Kalonzweni will be satisfied with that.
That's fine.
Let's not now start guiding the Waziri what is going to. We can, let it. That is his own business.
The other statement.
Please.
Go to the other
Chair,
statement,
for the
Chair.
interest of
Next.
time,
Yes.
I think we are through with
Sure.
this.
Yes.
We can just move to the next.
Thank you.
Proceed to the next.
Chair, as we wind up, I just want to confirm to Mheshimiwa on whether we were able to indicate that Kalonzweni did not have monies for Ligi Mashinani. On our first response, the first statement indeed indicates that Kalonzweni Ward did not have budget for Ligi Mashinani.
Then you finish. You should not have gone all through the other questions.
Yes.
I think you're very Waziri.
It's well guided.
Thank you so much, members. Members, now, as we go, because I think we are done with this Kalonzweni matter. We're going to respond as we have said. So we also need to know timelines. When are we getting this response today?
A revised one.
Now advised one, not this one. Because we must respond this on the floor.
In line to our discussion.
Yes. Timelines, Waziri?
We can provide that tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Members, I need to guide. When we go to the matter of Emali Mulala, let's have some decorum as we engage.
Sir,
Please.
give us time because we cannot dwell on one thing the whole day.
Thank you. Waziri, now we go to the other matter, which is Emali Mulala Rehabilitation Center. So,
Waziri,
What?
thank you.
so we move on. Waziri, you are aware that you were given us about 4 responses regarding the same questions that were raised by the Honorable Kanedi, who is present here, because there are no supplementary questions that were issued to him. So I don't know whether we are going to go by your last response that you've issued us today, or which responses do we rely on before we begin the discussions?
Through the chair, I would wish to confirm that indeed we have shared previous responses, but for the purposes of this discussion and moving forward, the most comprehensive statement that we have presented today is a statement that reflects all the information that we have at our disposal, having come through the years in regard to expenditures towards this project. So we go with The,
Your response dated date of yesterday, 12th August.
yes.
And what about the supporting documents, the attachments? May two have changed what we have, that what is possible, or
There are no changes to the supporting document that we presented, but we may have additional documents that are orderly, that will be orderly produced to support the expenditures as have been tabulated.
Maybe, Chair. At this point, Waziri, it's true that you have admitted that you have supplied 4 responses to the committee, and which contain different information. For the purpose of this meeting, can you withdraw the 3 responses, confirming that you were misleading, the 3 were misleading, and the final response is the right information? Because the information is totally different. So that at least we cannot peck on the other previous response while acting on this document.
Through the chair, I want to confirm that indeed, based on the information that we provided information based on materials that were availed to us, and for the purposes of the specific inputs given, we provided that as was provided. For the purposes of continuity and for this discussion, this final response that we have given is comprehensive to the extent that it is tabulating all the expenditures and also showing the expenditure from the beginning of the project, which was not the case in the previously presented materials.
Chair, I have a reason why I'm saying this. I wish there was here to be very clear, and because there are consequences behind giving false information, I want him to withdraw, because, like, for example, there is what is provided in the previous response, like about the drilling. It is different from what is provided here. So I want us, before we just get into this document, we come to in consensus that we put aside all other responses, we deal with only this one. But before then, you officially withdraw those other responses.
Through the chair, I withdraw.
Thank you. So we use the 10th August.
The latest.
This is the recent.
This is what you
The
have.
most recent.
Sorry?
it is dated
12 August 2024.
Yeah.
I don't have a copy. This what I have is the 25. Oh, I've gotten one.
And members, we minimize the background consultations and the movements, please, so that we can go very fast. We are having less than 30 minutes to conclude this matter.
So we move on.
Yeah.
Question number 1 was it? The breakdown of the 20 million. Itemized 20 million as per yeah, expenditures and the amounts.
How many here?
Through the chair, I want us to move to the table that tabulates all the costs related to these projects that were executed within the department.
Give a copy of this response to Martin.
So Waziri, we carry on.
So in table 1, provided in the second page of the response, we have made tabulations for all the budgets and expenditures that were incurred across the year since inception of the project. And I want to confirm that the initial budgetary allocation was done in the financial year 2017-2018, and that in that financial year, after the supplementaries, we had a total of 8,500,000, and that there was no expenditure or payment done on that specific year. In the following year, 2018-2019, at the end of the supplementaries, we had 8,100,000, and that 515,936 Kenya shillings was spent and paid and recorded as an expenditure that was paid. These expenditures will be tabulated further in the subsequent question. Financial year 2019-2020, a total budget after supplementaries of 12,500,000 was available, and that the amount of money that was spent within that year and recorded was 1,995,660 shillings. In the year 2020-2021, a budget of 22,868,238 shillings was the final budget after supplementaries, and that 13,560,647.40 was spent towards payments to activities within that project. In the year 2021-2022, we had a total budget of 19,699,31 shillings and 85 cents, and that a total payment of 12,387,928 and 65 cents was spent. In the year 2022-2023, a total of 8,623,040 shillings was the final budget after supplementaries, and that 7,196,730 shillings and 80 cents was paid out, and that in the year 2023, just the year ended, a total after supplementary of 6,348,220 Kenya shillings was available, and that payments amounting to 1,024,650 were made within that financial year. And then finally, within this financial year, they just approved budget for 24-25. The vote line under that project as 3 million Kenya shillings. So that is a tabulation of how the budgets were allocated and the specific expenditures that were paid out across the year towards that project under the Department of Gender, Children. When we go further, we will be able to introduce an additional expenditure towards the same project of 3,369 shillings and 200 Kenya shillings. That was a payment towards an expenditure that was incurred by the Department of Water, and we will be able to give breakdown on how that money was utilized when we get to that point. We can have, for the purposes of following, we can go to page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is available on page 6. That information regarding the expenditure under the Department of Water is under no, page 6 of the same document. There is a table, this table. The third table.
So other projects, eh?
Yeah. Yes.
Before we go to question 2.
This one.
Yes, before we go to question 2, the previous page.
So Chair, because now this is question 1, and it is majorly concerned about the allocation of 20.27.
Yes.
But the total contractual sum is here totaling to 41,284.
Yes.
So are we in agreement that 1B of it, whether there has been any other allocation for, and for what purpose, that has been perfectly responded to?
Yes, so that's why we have the additional, we separated for the purposes of clarity.
No. On question 1, number 25, just down behind, below it, it gives the total sum, which is 41,284,388. Are we in agreement? That is the total money spent on that, plus the 3,406,200.
Exactly.
For the other projects.
Yes.
So we are in agreement. The total money spent on that the rehabilitation center is 44,695,888, not 20.27 million.
Yes.
So I think that now, as responded to question number 1, the amount which has been responded, and that's why I was very clear about this document against the other document, because the first document gave 20.272, the second document gave 22.86. Now, and that was a repeat in the third response, but now in the fourth response, the sum has changed from all those sums to 44,690,588. I think we are in agreement.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you. When we come to the spending now.
Before you, Waziri, are you done? So that Mheshimiwa can come in.
Yes, on the summaries, on the actual expenditures across the years, we are done.
Yes, we are in agreement, Chair, that the total sum is 44 million, not 20 point, as it was stated earlier. Now, to be specific, because some of the you have given a very nice list of the project and procurement, which is well tabulated. It gives specification because the financial year, the project, the description, the amount, the contractor, and the status. In line with this, for clarity purposes, there is some repeat of some of the activities. Maybe we'll go slowly by slowly. But I would start to pick with the 1 million fuel. Why did we require 1 million shillings for fuel? As stated number 16.
Mheshimiwa, is order. When you once you ask a question, so that you can go very a bit proceed and fast. Aziza, to know at what page are you?
Number 11 of the tabulation.
Okay.
Number 11 of the tabulation. we have 1 million paid to water service station, where we have no voucher for that payment. I would wish to begin my first question there on this document.
So at this point, I want to bring in the procurement to respond to all the accountants. One of the two on the expenditure on the fuel.
Through the chair, this fuel was procured for drilling of the boreholes and also the vehicles which were being used from the department of infrastructure by them.
Order?
Yes.
Boreholes or borehole?
One borehole failed, and there was another one. One borehole failed, and they had to go and drill another one with the same fuel. They were utilizing this fuel.
So do
we
we
are
have
using our own bore,
drilling machine?
Yes, drilling machine.
So do we have a document to assist us?
Someone is looking for the water.
Someone is?
Looking for the water.
Waziri, the reason we gave you 7 days is to provide all the documents. In fact, now this is the 8th day. Now, Waziri, now someone is looking for vouchers.
So we can continue as we wait for it.
So how long are we, is he coming? How many minutes can we give to that person who is looking for those vouchers?
I think if you give me today, I can continue tomorrow.
We are in the meeting. We are in a meeting. So you are requesting for another meeting tomorrow?
Can we get it? No, to provide this evidence.
But Waziri, one of my members asked, do you need 14 days? But specifically, Waziri, you said you only need 7 days. So the reason, and you are very categorical, Waziri, the reason we gave you 7 days, it is to come up with everything which you needed. Yesterday, as we were postponing our that meeting, I also, we engaged. And you told me today you will have everything. And remember, Waziri, we was about to start at 10 a.m. We delayed a bit. And I thought as we were starting, you had everything. And you could have, before we started, Waziri, you could have raised a point of order and indicate to these members that we have some missing documents. But once we started, you didn't indicate we will be having some documents which you are not in a position to present to this committee. So, Waziri, the moment now the counters tells us that you need some additional day to provide a voucher or a document to support how you spend 1 million on fuel, then Waziri, you leave us surprised.
Chair.
Through the chair, I want to confirm that as a team, I've tasked my team and they have worked through, even throughout the weekend, combing through the documents. We are talking about voluminous documents, and sometimes within the documentation, what they have indicated is that sometimes they are finding files which are placed at different code line, and for that purposes this team has been going through, and I can confirm that I've done my very best to ensure that all the documents are provided, and for the 1 or 2 documents that are not available, 1 or 2 supporting documents that are not available, I will be able to commit to ensure that we provide that documentation. It's only that here we could not say, because we do not have 1 or 2 documents, we reschedule this meeting. This team has been tasked, and I ensured that I was on their neck, and that the information that has been provided has been provided courtesy of the desire to ensure that we provide information, all the information that was requested. So I beg your pardon for not disclosing earlier that we might miss one or two documents, but through your guidance we'll be able to provide any missing or any document that might be requested in addition to what we have at the end of this consultation process.
Waziri, then how are we going to be answered? Because we as a committee, we need an answer on this. Because now we will not sit again. It is a request of this. The reason he is here, remember, for Emali Mulala, is because it is a request of that statement. And Waziri, from where I sit, I think that the department, all those vouchers should be in one file. Or because we have, the reason we told you come with any other person who might assist you is because we know maybe you can say you are, when this expenditure was done, you are not around Makueni County. But we don't have parking. We still have teams. We have procurement officer and we have accountant. None of these things was really if they have looked for those vouchers for 7 days and they have not found them. Where are they going to get it within hours?
Chair.
Through the chair, all these documents are the archives in finance. Looking for them is not easy because some of them during these years are not well filed. So we are just trying to look for them.
So you are just throwing the money out.
For this particular one, there is somebody who is looking for it.
They were not well
filed.
Meaning we might miss them.
No.
Chair. Thank you for this opportunity. Accounting documents are equivalent to the finances which you have spent. If you lose them, you lose the money which was spent in that particular project. That is what I believe. And one thing I am wondering is because you cannot give such a beautiful tabulation here and it lacks supporting documents. Evidence of, to translate, to confirm what is here.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, and I also, sorry, Mheshimiwa. I also, according to me, is that we have worked in institutions, and there is nothing as good as ensuring that records are well kept because of reverence, because during the time of evaluation and monitoring, they might be needed, yeah, by external people. What will you produce? So, I don't know what we are going to say at this point in time, Chair.
Any other member?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair, and Waziri. Now, my question, I have two concerns.
Mheshimiwa, before you come with the other question, do you have anything to do with the
question one? We are not through.
We need to before, just hold on. Okay. We are in number 11, 2020-2021 water service station for the 1 million. That's we are in that question before we
move to the next.
Because we don't want to leave questions which are not answered. Any other member?
For the benefit of doubt, the officer.
We are in line. Number 11.
11.
Before you on the same?
No.
So wait, we finish this first.
So Chair, the procurement officer said that the fuel was utilized for drilling and all fueling of all vehicles that were used for that purpose, isn't it?
Yes.
So you forget the hoe and dam for the other vehicles that time, because there is always provision for operation and maintenance of any project.
For this particular one,
yes,
this one was allocated in a cabinet paper for
that purpose.
For the 1 million.
Yes.
So we are we are saying 5 over 6,000 liters were utilized to drill to borehole at Mwanyani Rehabilitation Center. That is what you are confirming.
Yes.
I think that is in order, Chair. We will not. In number 6 and 26, where we have other activities.
Marshal, before you go on, please.
Yes. Chair, this tabulation of the projects, it is not showing, it is not clear whether these projects are completed and working and serving the people.
You are in which page?
All the pages.
All of it.
Because you know what, Chair, there are
Mheshimiwa, what's the project?
The reason why I've raised this question.
Mheshimiwa, let me guide you before you finish. The project, they are not started.
Actually, we are on question 1.
Chair, I'm
Let him finish,
I'm
Chair.
on project 2021-2022 on number 13, which is showing there was solar power system installation of 561,000. It is not showing whether it is working, the solars are working. When you go to the 2022-2023, the following year, there was KPLC of 4.7 million, that is also power. And when you go to 2023-2024, there is also another power installation of 480,000. It is not showing why I don't know what's the rehabilitation of the power system, the solar. Maybe some were not working or they collapsed. Some, it is not clear to showing the status.
Chair, I want to confirm that on the status, it will be tackled on a subsequent question. So, right here is on the...
It is not here.
Yes, on the expenditures and the specific activities and who carried out that activity.
So Chair, I was saying there seemed to be some repeat because like number 26 and 24, we are seeing in the description of the activities, we are seeing landscaping. Landscaping in number 23, 24, there is landscaping. There is repeat. Maybe we can get some clarity about that.
You said 23 and 24.
Number 14 and 23.
14 and 23.
Maybe we might not be, because we just got the document now. Some members are just perusing across it right away, as I'm just doing. So maybe the paging might be a problem. That's why I'm referring to numbers as stated here. Yeah.
So, for the purposes of clarity, I will bring in the procurement officer to respond on the query regarding number 14 or row number 14 of the second table and row number 23.
Okay, thank you. In number 14, those were works done in 2021-2022, and it was for construction of access road, drainage system, landscaping, water harvesting, and water harvesting. The drainage part of that project was just to do the pathway from the gate to the school, to the building, to the facility. just small landscaping, because you see there is a lot of activities taking place in that contract. And in number 23, that is the main work is landscaping, which is happening right now. The scope of the works includes leveling of the whole ground, because some parts were so hilly, and laying some paving blocks, planting of ornamental trees, and such kind of things. So the first landscaping was on the pathway, according to the scope of the works. So there is no repeat, and the first one was done in 2021-2022. The other one has been done in 2023-2024, of which the works are ongoing right now.
Yeah, of course, there maybe the committee, because as I've said, we just got document today, we will not visit the site. Maybe after visiting the site and getting through into the BQs, they will have a report.
Sure.
Yes.
Any other question on the
Is this center operational?
It is not operational.
And I can
Not
see
yet.
there was staff induction and training. So which staff are these? Or it is the department?
It was the departmental staff induction.
On what?
Departmental staff induction. You use
Ward money.
the child protection budget to do the whatever.
This is HQ.
You're in French? Mheshimiwa, you're in French?
I'm somewhere. Just somewhere. I saw a staff induction. So my concern was whether it is operational, because when you induct the staff, it means they are. Have some
number 25.
Number 25,
number
yeah.
25, eh?
Yeah.
So that was my question, Chair.
Planning, coordination and staff induction.
Which
Planning
staff
for what? And coordinating what? Number
25.
And which staff? And how long did it take? Waziri? And also, who was training those staff? All the members. We are in 2025, 2024. My question is, planning for what? And what were we coordinating? Who was training those staff? And who are those staff? And for how many days?
Yes, through the chair, we are looking forward to operationalizing this facility. And as it stands now, we have got no staff to run the facility who are specialized rather for running that facility. So we are going to begin operationalizing this facility with our own staff. So we ended up in having a short induction of staff on what we expect, rather when the facility starts running, we're preparing the preparedness of now accommodating the chief.
Who are these staff?
So we can, I think it's departmental staff. You can the departmental staff.
And how many are they?
How many are they?
The departmental staff will be the staffs of the facility.
Will be moved to.
I just want to confirm this through the chair that this is a project that is one of our core mandates as a department, and usually what we are working on is we found ourselves in a situation where most of the staff, because they are engaged in one way or the other in issues to do with child protection, the team was unable to really come up with the operationalizations plan, adoption of the Child Act, in terms of the preparations of the regulations, and for that reason, the entire team was invited to an induction meeting that was facilitated partly in terms of knowledge sharing by a partner.
Who is? So it was the entire department from
yes,
the ECM.
Yes, yes.
Staff of how many members?
15.
15 members.
Yes.
And do we have the voucher?
Yes.
We can have a look at it. So 15 members plus the trainer. For how many days? 1 day.
1 day.
535, 23, 900. As we wait for that voucher, Waziri, up there 24 purchase of items for children at it is MSF for rehabilitation and support. Do we have kids in that center?
I have also seen
Purchase of items. I think Waziri, we can go item by item because we have so many questions, so that we don't go questioning. We can start from, so that we can be in order. Waziri, let's go point by point. Let's start with allowance in MOU preparation and allowances in MOU preparation and signing recruitment of children to
Moli Children's Home.
Oh, Moli Children's Home.
We are in number 1 now.
We are in number 1 now, so that we can go very fast. Allowances in signing and preparation. And allowance in MOU preparation and signing recruitment of children to Moli Children's Farm.
Yeah.
It's family.
Family.
Moli Children family.
So
Okay.
this MCF is different from the Emali?
It is called Moli Children's
Family.
Yes.
Oh,
I
it
want
was
to bring to your attention that
Oh.
this is one of the key partners who has been working the journey with the department as far as the project is concerned.
Yeah.
So initially, he has a home with more than, I think, 2,000 children who are now being rehabilitated in that facility. So as a county, this is Machakos. So as a department, the few whom we have been recruiting will be referring them to that facility. So it becomes our role model in now operationalizing our own facility. So we have to send an MOU with them so that they can take care of our children before now we operationalize ours.
Okay, fine. I think that is go to number 2, Chair.
We go to number 2. And members, let's begin because we have just gotten this document as we were sitting here, so we need to be very keen so that we can go very fast.
Yes, Chair, before we move out of there, this question goes to CEO. How many children from Makueni are at Muli's children family?
Okay, we have children in different rehabilitation centers. And when we talk of the recruitment under this
first phase,
number 1,
yeah,
we recruited children. Some went to Mukuru, and others went to Muli. And during this signing of MOU, those who were around, we went with the children from Emali, a full bus, to Muli. Because we wanted them to appreciate, so that when we tell them we are taking you to a rehabilitation center, they don't start wondering, where is it that you are taking us? And we were accompanied by the former governor. We went with all the children, and those two children who were willing to stay, they were actually left that day. And as we talk now, we have 24 children in Emali doing different courses. There are some who are in high school, the others who are in just the primary. We have others who are doing artisans. Some have already graduated, and they are already even employed by the Emali Children's Family. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. We go to number 2. Construction of Child Development and Protection Center, 2 classrooms, ablution block, nursing room, counseling room. 8.6. Any question, members, on that?
What is the status of this project?
The chair, so that at least we can avoid wastage of a lot of time. Some of the questions the committee will visit site and get a report.
Exactly.
So I didn't see why we should get to all these reports every yeah, because you get assessment of NEMA 200,000, for example. So you will, for confirmation of what has been provided here, it's information we have been, they shared to us so that we will have our own time for confirmation.
Yeah.
So when that question, if in any case, any of the question would require some clarity, you can seek the clarity from them. Actually, I was posing questions those which I was like, there is necessity to respond to them now. Because if you are told about 2 classrooms, you've not seen them, and you can hear what Honorable Maneno is interested to know. Most of the members are eager to know about the status, and visiting the site would be more better.
Yes.
Even you can have the physical view of what has been captured in this document. That is my take, Chair.
Thank you. So members, yes, my dear.
Thank you, Chair. I think the request of the statement has guided us.
Sure.
We should not waste a lot of time. Let's remain as a committee, then we come up with the areas of concerns. Then we plan out to go site visit, then we come up with the solutions.
So on the same, do we have these payment vouchers, Waziri?
Yes.
Can we have them?
Saying attached.
Some were left last time, and we have others here.
Tunaweza baki nazo.
Kindly.
Do we have the one for number 2?
Sorry?
The Film Commander Press Limited payment voucher of 8 million.
All of them.
Yes.
Yes.
They are attached.
You have it?
Yes.
Chair, not only that, we need the happenings, all of them,
Yeah.
to be to have it so that we can
Copies.
consume this document. So not only that alone, every other document that has been taken here is
Through the chair, I think the executive, they have learnt our mode. Let them provide us with all the necessary documents.
Thank you.
is captured by in this document.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can go to question 2, isn't it?
Truth, I have
Yes.
a question.
Yes.
After we go for site visit to that place, are we going to call the ECM to come and clarify what
If need
Yes,
be.
If need be.
in case,
If need be.
in case, just in case, if we have issues, we will.
Of course, it is important to have the department
Yeah, of course.
present because we are confirming on
Thank you.
the status.
That is future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's go to question number 2.
I hope you have not left any company that participated in the entire process in this list to avoid another response.
Where is number 2?
So in this question here,
It's already answered. So.
is already answered because it is provide a list of contractors involved in implementation of projects and provide the specific scope of works for each contractor and the status.
Yeah, they have provided.
Any question on members on this?
We might be, Chair, we might request the BQs for those undertakings as part of the evidence
When
of
we
those
visit.
activities as we visit the site. So we might be forced to request for them Because if you are taught about ablation block, you need to see the BQ. The specifications can only be captured from that BQ.
So no question on question number 2?
Yeah.
Question number 3.
To clarify, Chair.
Yes.
So we are supposed to provide the BQs. So that is a material that is useful during the site visit.
Sure.
Perfect.
Thank you. We go to question number 3.
Yeah.
Where the contractors have been paid the contract sum, including the retention, provide an evidence of payment and when such payments were made. Was it in a response, all payments to contractors were paid except a retention for Limatrax and is limited who did not repair defects within the PLP of 6 months. The retention amount was 280,182.35. Do we have evidence of payment?
Payments.
The vouchers.
Vouchers. Yeah, with the clerk. No, we need them to be. I need to film them. I need to film them.
We leave them behind.
Why can't you give us so that we can? So we go.
We can also
We can
confirm,
also
as,
confirm.
as we proceed with the deliberation.
Okay.
Maybe Chair on number 3. So are we done with question 3?
Yes, we can get the payment vouchers.
Waziri, all payments to contractors were paid except retention for Limatrax and Jesus Limited, isn't it? Does this include the ongoing works?
I want to confirm that for all the completed works, I think that is a disclaimer that should be part of this statement, is that except for the
completed.
yes, but we have tabulated the payments that have been done in question 1. So to just give you
because when you say all payments to contractors were made, and in your question 1 there are ongoing projects, then that leaves a question mark.
for completed works, I take note of that.
It is necessary we capture that, Honorable Chair and Clerk.
Yes, was it we need to know, for example, as you have said, Limatrax was not with a reason. Then we also need to know another company X, it has not been paid because with a reason. So that we can, we don't have to repeat ourselves, having several questions on the same, right?
Can we say it is number 23 and 21 only? Because that is only what has been captured as ongoing.
Yes.
Those two activities as per this document. So we capture number 21 and 23 are pending payment plus the telematics. So Chair, I think that is gated.
Fair enough. We go to question number 4.
And the chair, we will also interrogate these
Yes.
payments.
Yeah. So question number 4, the list of project management committee, PMC to the project and whether the PMC members have been paid. The allowances provide an evidence of payment and when such payments were made. Then the response is list of PMC attached, all payments were made except for PMC working under HAWI and impressive companies amounting to 106,200. So all the other PMCs have been paid except for HAWI and impressive.
And for the ongoing works.
The Hawi is the ongoing one.
No.
So the Hawi and the impressive companies and the 2 other companies.
Which are
21, 23, those.
Double key and Jandin.
they are part of the PMC Waziri. They are part of the even if they are ongoing, they are PMC's members. So
they should be captured as unpaid.
Sure.
So we have the provision of all those PMCs with you. that list of all those
It's here.
PMCs?
It's here.
No, that is one.
Hmm?
That is one.
Oh, the rest.
And that document is not valid. They said so.
Was it
Yes. Do we have all the list of all PMCs with you?
Yes.
Which includes name and conduct for all sub-projects?
Can I explain on that?
Oh, yes.
From number one, the project that happened in when the works started.
2018.
Let me go back there. 2019 up to 2021, the PMC was 1. And the only change that came in was just for the chair. And one more member was added. Because the chair expressed some political interest. So it was advised that he cannot continue being the chair. So the secretary was picked.
Right now, the ongoing project, which is include the lightening,
Yes, I'm
the
coming there.
landscaping, just a bit,
Yes.
the landscaping and the construction of we have 3 PMCs.
Yes.
Now, which are ongoing. I want to know whether the other projects were treated as such.
Actually, every project, the PMC was paid as per the works. If it is working with the contractor, Falcon, on the same site, the PMC was paid.
So my question is, do we have the list of all those?
Yes.
That is all what you
Yes,
have
we have the
responded.
list.
Thank you.
And I wanted to explain that the PMC was 1, but we replaced 2 members.
Directly, you don't need to explain because do you have a list of PMCs? Yes. Then we go attached. Thank you. So we go to the question number 5. Members? No, 5. Whether the PMC sign off the payment of contractors at the end of the project, if he has provided minutes of PMC authorizing the payment and a copy of the completion certificate issued to contractors. If no, give reason for the same, who authorized the payment to contractors. And the answer is very simple. The PMC authorized the payments, see attached PMC minutes in the appendix. Completion certificate was issued, see a copy attached in the appendix. So meaning that all payment were signed by the PMC members, right?
Yeah.
But the Waziri has just as it has responded in number 3, number 5. I think we need to capture that for whole complete project.
Yes.
Because it is very,
It is very key.
No, are you aware of some investigation about corruption which was conducted to this project, Honorable Waziri?
Yes, I am aware.
Do you have any insight about the PMCs? Is that investigation was being undertaken?
Yes, I am aware that at some point during the signing of the completion certificates, there were contradictions between the technical officers and the PMCs, but based on the final report, it indicated that the PMCs and the technical officers were able to come to consensus.
So as it pertains the signing of document or approval of the payments, it's no point do you hear about a PMC that did not agree and did not sign for payment at any point in that investigation. Are you aware of such situation?
That was indicated, but based on the information that we have, it's also indicated that after the initial disagreement, they were able to, I think the contractor, they were able to, the technical team and the PMCs were able to come to a consensus.
So in that document, there is no element where there was some forgery during the investigation. No forgery has been captured.
As far as the information that I have at my disposal, possibly that was not provided. That far end was not provided.
I request you go through that document, but you provide the risks, we will revisit.
So in short, Waziri, from where you sit, there's no any issue at the ground. Everything is settled.
Based on the information that was provided from this particular end, that has not been captured. But what I can confirm is that as a department also, since we are coming to the completion of the project, personally I've done site visits to establish the status of the projects, and I've been able to pick a couple of issues that we will be able to address with some of the PMCs. So for such information, where information is provided to the extent that an agreement was reached, I'll be able to confirm with the committee, with the actual committee members on site.
So as at now, everything is going on well?
Based on the information that was provided,
yes,
towards preparation of this statement, yes.
Thank you. Any question, members? Then we go to question number 6. Whether the project sustainability committee has been established, if yes, provide names of the members of the committee, and if no, when will that committee be established? Sustainability is yet to be established. This will be done as soon as the center operationalization guidelines are reviewed and approved. The review is scheduled and is necessitated to be by introduction of the Child Act 2022, which came in operation after the current guidelines had been developed. This will be completed by September 15th, 2024.
I think that is well answered.
No, Chair. You know, in the previous response, it was given that the project will be in operation come June, the end of the financial year.
But
now, here you are talking of 15th September 2024. Can you give some commitment?
Through the chair, I'm giving the commitment, and this is based on unforeseen adjustments. For some of the works that have been procured, when we go to the question number 7, we realize that we do not have, some of the structures have not been completed. And also from our side, we were hard pressed with a budget to get us to the position of convening one of our support partners to enable us finalize the process of review and submission of the guidelines for approval.
But Chair, there is a reason why you came with the date 15. There must be a work plan.
Yes,
there must be some consultation. There must be a reason why you are specific on 15 September 2024. Can you confirm to this committee there will be no shift?
So for the purposes of development of the operationalization guidelines and the plan, we commit to the stated date, and then on the subsequent answer in question number 7, we also commit to the timeline that has been given.
Waziri, personally, I will refer you to the first response and the second response. Although you have withdrawn those responses, it means that Waziri, then what we are giving this committee, although you have withdrawn, I've used those words very carefully, because if you go to the second response,
Chair, please don't take us there.
there's a reason.
Something has been withdrawn.
Mheshimiwa, there's a reason why I'm asking, because the reason I'm asking Mheshimiwa is because the first response was 30th of June, the second response was 15th of August, and the third one is 15th of September. That's the reason, and I've said I'm using those two examples, despite the fact that the Waziri has withdrawn. The reason I'm asking because we need to, as a department, Mheshimiwa and also Waziri, we need to be committed in what we indicate and in what we respond and in what we say.
Chair, I have a response of that, not a response, an observation on that. I'm thinking it is very tricky for Waziri to give a specific date. Why? Because this is an institution, it has many stakeholders, and it's not a project is doing it alone. It has a lot of involvement. So my thinking is that we can just give a specific period of time, but not a date.
Chair, I was very specific to the Honorable ECM and the team. Can you demonstrate that confirmation that 25th of September 2024 we will have the project in operation? That is what I wanted.
That's not what we've indicated in the response. We have only indicated
the date. We are talking about the guidelines, review of the guidelines, and the ability to set up the sustainability committee.
Waziri, I think, as Mheshimiwa has said, this issue of giving a commitment, well, the moment you give us a date, you have committed yourself. Then, towards that date now, you shift the goalpost to another date. Then it looks like we are just, we are not serious with our commitments. And the reason I was concerned as the chair of the committee and referred you back to your two responses is about the fact that you were withdrawn them. Are you certain that on the 15th of September, you will be in a position to have done so?
This is next month.
Because it is next month.
This is next month.
And before you respond on that, additional question.
Thank you, Chair. I believe Honorable Kaleli is right to know when the project will end. But to the side of the department, I believe if they answer us right now, they will be cheating.
Yeah.
It is my view, they go back and look at the workload ahead of them and project thoroughly. They will come up with a good expectations of the period of time. That is my take. Because it is, you are talking just about next month.
Don't just give a date for the sake of.
We want a comprehensive answer whereby we shall measure, basing on the work and all the activities will be informed. They will give you the measure.
Was it there? We have realities of matters, not pressure. Just you want to answer so that we are done with that question. Give us from where you sit as the head of that department. Tell us within this period of time. But now indicating a date as a committee, we will buy that narrative. Then once that day comes, we will be on your toes. You will have to explain how comes you gave us this date. Another reason Mheshimiwa is asking you, are you certain that on the 15th of September you will have done that?
Maybe, Chair. And 6 and 7 is almost the same thing. On 7, I frequently visit the site. So on number 7 here, about the completion, that can be done by August, I'm sure. About those structures that I'm sure. Number 2, we are talking about a review and approval of operations guidelines, which you expect it to be mid-September. Will be the guidelines subjected to the Assembly for approval?
Yes, they will be subjected.
Which now calls for a public participation exercise.
Exactly.
You know, I'm talking about procedures and timelines because we must be. I am imagining now this go to the assembly when we are on recess, and it happens. It is not a priority of the business, and more we lack resources for public participation. We don't go for public participation. But your thinking is that by mid-September you will be done with the guidelines and the regulations, which means 3 will depend on B.
Absolutely. Through the chair, I understand the risk of giving timelines.
Yes.
But from where we sit, since we are working for the people, we are working with timelines that give an indication on when we should be done with certain milestones. On the area of review, especially now from our side as a department, we have that projection, and we hope that by that time we'll have presented the same to the assembly for approval. And one of the other things one of the other reasons why we are giving these timelines is for us to be able to persuade you as a team for the purposes of ensuring that this matter is given prominence and is prioritized, that since we are working to ensure that we meet the needs of the people of Makueni generally beyond the Emali Mulala ward, then as we bring that to you, then the same is expedited, so then we are able to work within those timelines. Yes, usually you can have timelines and fail to meet the said milestones within the said timelines. We do not want to walk out of this room with a blanket check. We want to work with a commitment, so then as we also work as a department, we know that this is a priority, because conflicting interests will always come, and from a department's perspective, when you do not have a timeline, then there is always the risk of shifting to work on a conflicting interest. But that said, though, in the event that we will not be able to meet these deadlines, we will be able to give responses to the committee prior to getting questions from your side.
Now, moving out of the regulation, because the regulation is not only factor. We have other factors, like from the list we have seen the supplies of different materials to be used in the facility. From other factors like resources or in collaboration with any other body, are you set as a department to go, other than the regulation which would require the element of the assembly?
So from where we sit as a department, we are going to have someone seconded from within the department or across government to sit there as a manager of the facility. And this sets the operationalization of the facility, which is not just an event, but a process that will involve invitation of interested partners. When you call an interested partner to a center that is under construction, then they don't breathe the confidence. I've sat down with a partner and they say they will only be able to come over when all our structures are complete and we have a site manager. So the projected operationalization that we perceive as a department is an operation that will kickstart a process that will culminate with us having full operation over a period of time. That will obviously be determined by other factors beyond our control as a department.
Chair, now that we are at the level of operationalization of this center, didn't you have any partners in place? Or leave alone, are they the ones who have just said they are waiting for the completion of the project, or maybe there is some or there are partners who maybe who have confirmed that they will journey with us?
We have engagement with a couple of partners,
yeah,
but we do not have a commitment on a specific date or a commitment on the exact resource that they will be able to offer, because from our side we also have uncompleted business. But we look forward to really signing up work or MOUs with organizations once this is done.
It is the high time you shop for partners, because the sustainability of this center.
So now we can have October date is at the beginning is the possible date of setting the rehab into operation. We can have now that an agreement.
Yes, having a manager in there, setting up the structures, getting a sustainability committee subject to the approval of the guidelines, and just getting started, because we also, in our projected operation plan, we are not expecting to start from the top. We will walk the entire thing. If you can use, I can draw this from the bottom-up approach, then we will use that approach.
Chair, I think the concern about the operation of this project, we have had the narration all through from even having the previous governor travel to a rehabilitation center with the staff for capacity building program, ferrying street children from Emali all the way to that place, and considering the number of years, and just from when it started, we started budgeting for this activity. It means the delay is too much, and we are eagerly in need of this facility to be in place and in utilization. My Q Chair, when there was demonstration in Emali, we had over between 300 to 500 children who were participating in that activity of demonstration and or destruction, as you may pick it. And I'm imagining if we had this facility in place like 7 years or 5 years back, since when we had this thinking on ourselves, we could have saved lives. We could have changed lives of some of those street children. Thereby, this calls for the necessity of fast-tracking this project into operation, and it is a project that can help the entire county, because I don't think whether Makueni we have another rehabilitation which is operational. So that calls for the necessity of the ECM to stick to the early October, so that we don't move to next year without the project being in operation.
So can I just make a request?
Yeah.
So since you are alive to the fact that we need and we are committed to ensure we get this operationalized, my request will be that once we get the guidelines done, then we expedite that, so then we get that opened up. And secondly, on the resources, much as we are talking about partners and everything, and we want to start small, then I will ask for consideration for additional budget, and we'll be able to share an indicative amount during the supplementary. I know we are talking this at a time when austerity measures have been put in place, right from the broad-based government. I hope that we will be able to afford some resources as we look at areas that we need to prioritize during the supplementary budget making process.
So really to the chair, my last question, during the operationalization of the project, actually the material day, will there be launched by the government? Will we have children being recruited in that center, beginning on that particular day, and then the end of the project we try to come to an end at any given time? That's the question.
So usually for projects like this, the best principle is for us to ensure that there is considerable level of activity within the facility, so then by the time we are opening it up, then we are able to really demonstrate to the people what is happening. And for that reason, it will be a good opportunity for us to showcase to the people of Makueni that already, finally, we have a center that is in existence. So we will have, we will plan for such an activity, and that's why we are also asking for consideration for resources, so then we don't just open it quietly, but we open it with some level of visibility that will give our face as a government collectively the impetus that we need and the confidence that we need to draw from the public.
So the children will be available?
In the ideal case, then, considering that we have said we'll be able to start small, then for the purposes of an ideal launch, then that will be the best principle. If then there are changes based on consultation, then we'll be able to adjust appropriately to open it within the status that we will be at the time.
What ages of children do we expect in that project?
What
age?
What age of the kids?
Yes. It's a rescue center. Yes, of what? And children, it should be 18 and below. Yeah. The age of children.
A child.
It's a child.
Yeah.
And then there's the bigger one who are in the streets. Those ones we do linkages. so that they can go to some
The relevant.
rehabilitation and some relevant training facilities.
Thank you.
Yes, there are times I used to work for NGO, and there are dynamics around the street children, especially at Emali. If you understand the whole thing about those street children, sometimes I find it very scary, but we are not going there. I am asking, if at all we plan to go to Muli Children Family, as we would like to visit as a committee, so that we can go see our children and try to see what is happening there. Will we need someone for orientation, because I know those centers are very sensitive?
The procedure is you do a letter.
Yeah.
Liaise the department and the committee,
Yeah.
a letter to the director, and the director is the one who approves. Because there are many centers, they approve where you can visit. And I think it is possible.
Because here we should know
Yeah.
where our children are.
Yes.
We should also have a look at what is happening there, so that when we are coming to lodge our institution, we are not just asking questions out of ignorance.
Sure.
We exactly understand.
Thank you. Members, no, those are on those questions. I think we'll have another we can have another forum whereby we can dig to other questions pertaining organization of that rehabilitation. I think not. Do we have any other question pertaining what we have discussed today from the honorable members?
I think other questions will arise at the ground.
Thank you.
When you go there with of course, the department.
Thank you. From was it until?
Maybe before you conclude, or the Waziri concludes,
Yeah.
please ensure you have all documentations for proceeding to site.
Thank you. Was it any question from your team?
Just to appreciate the fruitful engagement that we have had as a team. We'll be able to provide the information that is required for the subsequent activities, and for the purposes of the ideas that we have drawn from this conversation, then we'll be able to put that into practice, so then we achieve the shared objectives and aspirations that we have as a government.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Waziri and team. Waziri, the last question. When do we expect the other documents which we have requested from you?
For the vouchers that are not available, for the voucher that is not available, then we have indicated that it will be available tomorrow morning. Is that okay?
Tomorrow?
It will be provided tomorrow. And for the BQs, then those are documents that we already have. We'll be able to compile a file, so then it's available during the, we'll coordinate with the clerk, so that that file is available by close of business tomorrow.
Thank you, Waziri, for this.
Chair, I have some input. Honorable Waziri, you have said everything will be through tomorrow. Let it be true. Let it be true. Because sometimes we met with the other Waziris, and they tell you we are going to respond tomorrow, but tomorrow you keep it repeating tomorrow until it takes a week. So let's hope you are saying you are promising us tomorrow will be the last day, so that we can present in the plenary, please.
Chair, can we get the confirmation from our procurement that you have all the victims with you, and that we'll be able, the work remaining on our desk is photocopy? Okay. And for the voucher,
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Thank you, members. We have heard from Wazir and team. We expect everything tomorrow, and I wish you well, Waziri. It was a nice conversation and engagement. Thank you so much, members. The meeting stands adjourned. Till another day. Thank you.
Members have, for a while, members, just a few minutes. Teni kidogo hawa waende.
We have not taken lunch.
Family.